Mental health stories within sports, part two. This is a story that I found through The Athletic. It was published this past October. Justin Britt didn't just retire from football. He was drafted in 2014 by the Seattle Seahawks. He spent 6 seasons in Seattle. He played in 86 games, and he started in a Super Bowl as a rookie. In 2019, he tore his ACL. It was the first major injury of his career, but Seattle released him in the 2020 offseason. He eventually signed with the Houston Texans. He was feeling healthy again until a player fell on his right knee. He tore about 80% of his cartilage. From there, it was constant rehab, fluid being drained from his knee, and so on and so forth. He was ultimately healthy at the start of the 2022 season. He played 70 snaps in the first game, but he said it felt like an out-of-body experience, like watching himself in Madden. He didn't recognize some of his decisions. On the sideline, coaches were yelling. After the game, he skipped the shower, went straight to the car. He said he cried. He said, "My depression and anxiety was really sudden. It made him call the team in Houston and ultimately say, 'I'm not mentally fit to come into work.'" After that game, he was placed on the reserve non-football illness list. Texans released him in the offseason, and he retired in 2022. For Britt, being an athlete wasn't just what he did, it was who he was. It was structure, it was part of his personality, it was community. And suddenly that was gone. He said stepping away was terrifying and that it got really quiet. He didn't know who he was without having that thing to chase. And so he tried different things. He tried Peloton, he cleaned up his diet, he lost weight, but he still felt untethered. He said, "I knew I needed something that would challenge me." So his wife suggested running. He assumed that it would be easy, and it wasn't. He couldn't finish a mile. It humbled him. But instead of walking away, he got hooked. His mind locked into benchmarks like faster paces and longer distances. He ended up losing 60 pounds. He said ultimately racing was something he did for himself. In football, you have a job to do, and if you don't do it, you get criticized. But in running, he's not Connor Mantz. I didn't know who that was, so I had to Google it. He's the American record holder for the marathon. That's not Britt, but Britt is a 270-pound guy who last October was trying to run his first marathon. And he has. He ran last year's Chicago Marathon in 3 hours and 36 minutes, and I saw he just ran the New York Half in an hour and 31 minutes. That's a sub 7-minute mile or 13.1 miles. Britt's been open about his mental health and it's still being a process. And he says, but running gives him routine, solace, and it's a way to work things out.